Hey guys, it's
Hi,
Shaman.
everyone. Hi, I'm Yolanda Harper, and we are co-founders of Harper Therapy.
Right, I thought I was doing the
Oh, I'm
introduction.
sorry, you're doing the
It's
introduction.
fine.
Go for
You
it.
can do the introduction. Go ahead.
No, well, I mean, you pointed to me.
No. Go ahead.
It's been
I was
a
like
long day.
pointing to you because I was like, "Who are you?"
Oh, it's Friday, and we've survived. We've navigated through another week, right? So we are here at the Harper Therapy office.
Right, living Groundhog Day.
It is Groundhog Day. This is social distancing for us because we're married and we live together, so we can do this.
At least,
Well, in
now.
theory, yeah, for now, until they tell us not to.
right.
But I mean, in order to kind of shake up the routine a little bit, we're the only ones here at the office. Well, we've got the therapy dogs here, but
Right, we're here mostly to get out of our house.
for a different environment.
Right.
So,
We got some things to come and talk about today with
Yeah.
the whole COVID-19,
Yeah.
coronavirus, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, we've been sharing tips every day, little bite-sized nuggets of information to
Right.
help all of us through the impact of COVID-19 on our mental, emotional, and relationship well-being.
Right, and there's a lot there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to consider, is what I mean.
So let's riff. Let's talk about what is going on. We are big fans of Fred Rogers, right?
Yeah. You know, if you don't know who Fred Rogers is, Mr.
Mr.
Rogers,
Rogers'
like,
Neighborhood. Yeah.
won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he had the saying of what is mentionable is manageable.
Right. If you can name it,
Yeah.
you can manage it.
Right.
Right.
And I'm a Daring Way facilitator of Brene Brown's work, and part of her unique specialty is wrapping words around our lived experiences. So let's talk about what we're living through, what we're experiencing right now.
Well, we're experiencing like collective trauma, right? Everybody's like freaked out.
Now, we do specialize in anxiety and trauma, so that is a lens that we see things through.
Right.
And that might be a little shocking to some people for us to put words of collective trauma around this.
Maybe not for us, but yeah, I understand.
And it is any situation or experience that is a threat to our life and well-being, and the life and the well-being of those that we care about.
Or perceived to be a threat.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, because that's, that frankly,
It's
that's how a lot
subjective.
of people are perceiving this as a
Totally.
threat, right?
No, it is, and it
Right.
is. It is. So, kind of like the virus, and the virus kind of has an impact across the spectrum. If someone experiences it, that can be our experience of trauma as well.
Sure. And then
So-
there's grief.
Yeah, grief. Our world looks nothing like what it did
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, right? And a lot of us, I had this experience earlier in the week. I was like, what is happening?
Right.
You know?
And frankly, it's been a little exhausting trying to wrap your mind around it and get there and kind of mourn over what I could do 2 weeks
Right.
ago and what I can't
And what
do
we
today.
can't do, and,
Right.
and we're trying to hold space for our kids, and a lot of them are experiencing grief with not being in school and not
Right.
seeing friends, and not having the opportunity to say goodbye.
Right. I mean, we have a senior in high
Yeah.
school, and there's a lot of grief going on in that all of those last years of high school things that are now
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
either postponed or canceled or
Right.
in limbo. Right.
And let's just be honest, this takes a toll on our relationships. Like, we are not used to being like this in our
Right.
homes for so long. And there actually was a news story that was released this week about the divorce rate going up in China after.
Right. In Wuhan, China, the divorce rate has gone spiked way up after
Yeah.
all this, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
But it is a thing.
So, in all of that, one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, and one of the reasons that we've been coming live every day, is now is not the time to not prioritize your mental, emotional, and relationship well-being.
Right.
Now, if any time, is the time to really focus on those parts of our lives.
Right. And it seemed like the natural reaction is to go back to what you know, and fight all that, right? And I got to stop everything, and I can't move on. And
Right. Well, there's so many different things that are vying for our
Right.
attention right now, right?
Right.
And we need to be intentional about these components of our lives if we are going to get through this well.
Right. So there's, okay, what's the new norm?
Right.
And how does that look? And how do I kind of walk through that and kind of face feeling anxious and overwhelmed? And
let's just be honest, like, it is completely normal.
Right.
It's completely normal to feel anxious, to feel overwhelmed. If you are exhausted, raise your hand.
if you want to go to bed at 8 o'clock every night right now, raise your hand.
Yeah. So if you are experiencing those things, that is the brain's and the body's normal stress response.
Right. So what we're saying is what you're experiencing is natural and normal, and it's okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Right. Yeah.
But there's some things you can do about that.
Yeah.
Right. Getting support is very important.
It's necessary.
Right.
We are social beings, and we are meant to go through crisis collectively. It's a collective trauma, and we're meant to go through these things in our tribes, as you know, with our support systems.
Right.
We're meant to go through this together.
In relationship.
But the challenge is, and this is part of what's unique with this pandemic, is that all of our social supports are being stressed at the same time as we're experiencing stress.
Right.
So it makes it a little bit more challenging for us to feel like we can reach out.
It's like the target's moving.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So those go-to like social supports that we naturally would maybe reach out to, we're a little bit more hesitant and we're a little bit more reserved because, they've got their thing.
Right, they got their thing that they're working through, just like we've got our thing that we're working through, and everybody else I know has their thing they're working through.
And then we have this added component of this social distancing and being more isolated from, seeing one another face to face. And we're doing what we can to make adjustments to that. But that's still a component that we're trying to navigate through.
So what can help with all this?
Therapy.
Right.
Yeah. We happen to be big proponents of therapy, and we are now offering therapy online.
Right. So, in the midst of, I think we've actually been saying it all week that, we're doing video sessions and online therapy, but, now is the time that if you need support, there's ways to get it and ways to do it in a way that's not going to put you at risk. Jeopardize your well-being, make you sick, any of those kind of things. You could sit in the comfort of your house, in a quiet spot, and you can actually get the support you need.
Well, and here's the thing: when the stress response is triggered in our brain does what comes most easily and readily, and that's well-worn patterns of coping.
Right. Even
when those well-worn patterns of coping are not helpful.
Well, I was just about to say, even when they're detrimental to coping.
Yeah, exactly. Even when they give you the exact opposite experience.
Right.
So therapy can help you create new neural pathways to more helpful coping mechanisms.
Right. It can help you look at challenges maybe a little different, from a little different perspective.
Right, because we get, especially when there's a threat, our focus gets super narrow. Right. And so therapy can help broaden the focus and allow us a more creative, more depth to problem-solving capacities.
And I think one of the cool things about therapy, just in general, is it gives you that ability to pivot, to like look at it from a different way, and there isn't just that one way to solve my problem, or get the support I need. So I think it gives you an opportunity to do that, right?
Yeah, and I think as what makes us unique in as trauma therapists in particular is that we are like the gurus of resiliency and of the pivot, right? So that's the lens that we navigate from, and that's what we do. So we can help strengthen. It's like a muscle. It's like working out any other muscle. We can help you strengthen the muscle of the pivot and resilience. Right.
It can save your relationship.
Yeah. Again, the news reports from China can.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. It's terrible.
It is. It's very sad, and we don't want our community to become a statistic. One of the reasons that we're doing this is that we want to, you made the comment to our daughter the other day, like, this is the thing that your kids are going to be reading about in
the
history
books,
books,
right?
whatever the history books look like when we have grandkids, right? And great grandkids. But like, we want to help our community be able to look back on this time and say, man, that was really tough, but look at how we came through it.
Right. So it can just help you kind of navigate through tough times, rough situations.
Right.
I mean, it's no different than what therapy normally is, doing online therapy.
Yeah.
So it gives you all of the benefits that therapy gives you. It just gives it to you in I wouldn't even say that much of a different format, right?
No. But it does allow you, you mentioned it's like Groundhog Day over and over again. It gives you a period of time during your session to step away from that.
Right.
To step away from that experience.
Right.
To get a different perspective of things, to get some tools and tips that are unique. If you and your partner are going through a difficult time through this, it gives the two of you a different way to connect.
Right.
I mean, this can really be a tool to strengthen your relationship, right? And
take it to a different place altogether.
Right. None of us would choose to walk through these storms and do these difficult times, but we can make some good out of it.
All right. So what does online therapy look like?
Yeah. You find a quiet place.
Right.
You log on to your computer, your phone, your tablet, secure platform with your therapist.
Right.
And you talk things through.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously they can get resources on these Facebook Lives we keep putting out.
Absolutely.
There's information on our website, harpertherapy.com.
Absolutely.
But then that kind of brings me to like our last point for today.
Yeah. I'm excited to share this.
Well, go ahead and share it.
No.
No, I insist. I'm not going to say a word. You got to say it.
Yeah. Go for it.
No, we'll just sit here for 2 hours until you figure out.
Who wants to hear? All right. So we are honored to stand alongside of our communities, heroes, the people who are on the front lines of all of this COVID-19 experience.
Right.
And so we are proud to offer first responders, people who are working in healthcare, who are healthcare professionals, people who are in service industries, who are really being impacted.
Yeah, you want to talk about a group that's being, the medical professionals and our service industry is just pretty much been decimated. Anybody that works in a restaurant, anybody that's serving somebody else right now and lives off of tips, or that kind of, hey, call me, what do they call it, the gig economy, right? Those industries are really hurting right now.
So it is our honor to stand alongside of and support you. If you are in these communities, then we want you to give our office a call, and we are offering sessions at a reduced rate.
Yeah, it's a severely reduced rate.
Yeah, just enough so that we can pay our clinicians.
Right.
So, if there are topics that would be helpful for us to address in some of these lives, please drop them in the comments.
Right.
But otherwise, guys, it's Friday. Take good care of yourselves and be kind to each other.
And do something to break the monotony this weekend.
And share what you're doing, because we want to know.
Right, because I need some ideas.
Share what you're doing, because we want to know. All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.